Ever gazed upon a portrait of a beautiful queen or noblewoman and wondered about her life? You may have noticed that despite the flawless skin and elegant demeanor depicted in the artwork, these women's lives were anything but hygienic. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're diving into the filthy reality of royal life. Get ready to uncover the dark secrets lurking beneath the glamorous facades of these powerful women. We'll start with the alluring yet deadly world of makeup and then move through other aspects of their lives that would make you question if being a queen was really all it was cracked up to be. No. 7. Toxic beauty. In the 16th century, one of the most desired complexions for a noblewoman was a flawless white skin. To achieve this look, they used a type of white lead makeup known as Venetian Susi. This highly toxic substance not only led to severe poisoning, but also became a slow form of suicide for many of Europe's prominent women. Lead acetate, commonly found in wine, vinegar, and fruit preserves, was a key ingredient in this makeup. While lead acetate did help in lightening the skin, it came with a horrifying cost. Women who used this makeup regularly suffered from chronic lead poisoning. Symptoms included seizures, hair loss, hearing loss, paralysis, organ damage, and eventually death. Despite the knowledge of these horrific side effects, the use of white lead makeup persisted for centuries. Queen Elizabeth I of England was a notorious user of this makeup, as her obsession with maintaining a youthful complexion led her to cover her face with thick layers of white lead every day. By the end of her life, her entire nervous system had been decimated by this daily ritual. Her step was unsteady, she had frequent seizures, and she could barely speak or write coherently. The story of Queen Elizabeth is a stark reminder of the lengths to which societal beauty standards can drive people to. The desire for lighter skin and the pressure to conform to these ideals led to the suffering and ultimate demise of many queens and noblewomen. It also highlights the dangers of ignoring scientific evidence when it contradicts deeply ingrained social norms and beliefs. Number 6. Menstruation. Menstruation, a natural biological process, was treated as a taboo subject during the time period. The education of royal women often stopped after basic reading and writing, leaving them with limited understanding of their own body. When they did experience puberty and menstruation, they had no idea what was happening to them. This lack of knowledge, coupled with a general taboo surrounding female issues, meant that menstruation was a confusing and frightening experience for these young girls. The societal response to menstruation was both unhygienic and dangerous. To manage their periods, royal women relied on old wives, tailies, and folk remedies. They used filthy rags or cloths instead of sanitary products, which led to infections and complications. Furthermore, they believed that bathing during menstruation was forbidden, which led to a buildup of dirt and bacteria on their body. Some even resorted to douching with vinegar or wheat water, believing it would purify them, when in fact, it aggravated their conditions. This lack of proper menstrual care had severe consequences. It led to chronic pelvic infections, infertility, and in some cases, death. Moreover, the secrecy surrounding menstruation forced women into social exile during their periods, exacerbating their physical and psychological trauma. 5. Bathing. The royal women of the past were generally prohibited from bathing. This ban was rooted in a combination of medical misinformation and religious beliefs. The medical community believed that bathing led to various ailments, including heart problems, weak bones, and a loss of feminine beauty. Additionally, religious doctrines condemned bathing as sinful and immoral. For instance, in 18th century France, Queen Isabella of Bourbon was advised by her physicians to never bathe. They concocted elaborate theories linking bathing to increased sexual urges, which were deemed inappropriate for a woman of her stature. Similarly, the church actively discouraged bathing, claiming it was a distraction from spiritual duties and a gateway to temptation. This potent mix of medical dogma and religious condemnation made bathing a rare occurrence for royal women. Instead, they would rely on elaborate powdering and perfuming routines to mask any odors. However, these rituals could not entirely compensate for the lack of hygiene. As a result, the courts were filled with layers of dust and the stench of stale sweat and urine, creating an environment ripe for disease. 4. Hairstyles. The extravagant hairstyles of royal women were more than just a symbol of status and wealth. They were veritable ecosystems. These towering creations were meticulously crafted with the finest silk and linen, adorned with precious metals and jewels, and held together with rancid animal fats. But beneath the glitter and grime, these hairstyles harbored a more sinister element, a thriving population of parasites, primarily lice. These tiny insects were not only a nuisance but also a serious health hazard. They spread diseases like typhus and typhoid fever, which claimed countless lives. The sheer size and complexity of these hairstyles made them the perfect breeding ground for lice. They provided ample crevices for the insects to hide and lay their eggs, making them difficult to eradicate. Moreover, the use of animal fats in styling not only attracted pests, but also caused skin irritation and even blindness. Despite the discomfort and danger, Royal women were expected to wear these elaborate hairstyles 4 hours each day. The removal of these hairstyles could take another hour, a process that involves soaking the head in cold water, scraping with blunt instruments, and painstakingly picking out the remaining debris. This daily ritual, repeated 4 years, took a significant toll on the physical and mental health of these women. It caused chronic pain, spinal damage, headaches, and even contributed to the spread of fire due to the use of candles and oil lamps in the elaborate constructions. 3. Giving birth was a traumatic experience for royal women, made even more horrifying by the presence of spectators, including family members, courtiers, and even foreign dignitaries. In England alone, there were approximately 200 attendees at the birth of each child. This unusual spectacle was not merely a display of parental pride, but also a calculated political move. It was designed to prevent any claims of legitimacy in case the child born was a girl. This paranoia-driven custom had a brutal impact on the women involved. The birthing process itself was painful and dangerous, further complicated by the presence of so many onlookers. If a midwife or physician was present, their main goal was to ensure the quick delivery of the baby, not necessarily to protect the mother's health. The high level of mortality among mothers and infants was a grim testament to this practice. Number 2. Kitchens. Despite their wealth and power, the royal kitchens of the past were often scenes of filth and decay. In 18th century France, rats were known to roam freely in the royal kitchens at Versailles, feasting on dropped food and contaminating the premises. The kitchen staff, often poorly trained and supervised, did not follow basic hygiene practices. They shared kitchen utensils with butchers, allowing raw meat to contaminate cooking tools. Raw sewage frequently spilled into the food preparation areas through broken pipes or intentionally dumped waste, further contaminating the environment. These unsanitary conditions led to widespread foodborne illnesses among the nobility. Servants were frequently blamed for serving spoiled food, even though they had no control over the preparation or storage of the meals. The kitchens also suffered from inadequate refrigeration, meaning that perishable goods often went bad quickly, leading to even more health issues. Despite these dire conditions, those who dared to complain or suggest improvements were often dismissed or punished. Number 1. Waste disposal. The grand palaces of the past were not just homes for royalty, they were also repositories of waste. With a lack of proper plumbing and sanitation systems, these palaces often resembled open sewers. Chamber pots, used for both urination and defecation, were frequently emptied out of windows, with the contents landing directly on the streets below. This not only created an unpleasant living environment, but also spread deadly diseases. The lack of basic hygiene infrastructure meant that the corridors of power were literally contaminated by the waste of those who occupied them. Water, often contaminated by human waste, flowed freely through the palace grounds, carrying disease and filth to every corner. The absence of proper sanitation did not spare anyone, from the king sitting on his throne to the lowest servant. This grim reality was not just a byproduct of a bygone era, but a stark reminder of the importance of basic human needs, like hygiene and sanitation. The history of royal life exposes the dark side of privilege, showing that even those at the pinnacle of society were not immune to the consequences of neglecting basic human needs. Now it's time to hear from you. Which of these hygiene practices shocked you the most? And do you think the fascination with royal life is worth uncovering these grim realities? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel for more captivating historical tales. Thanks for watching.